So the U.S. Postal Service, their employees suffered more than 5,200 dog attacks nationwide last year. So they had to deal with things like dogs jumping the fence, or when they have to go into a yard, dogs being loose in the yard. So as a whole, Texas was ranked number 2 among the top states for most dog attacks, with 358 back in last year in 2025. So they're doing this whole national dog bite awareness campaign, and a couple of the things when I saw this stood out to me. So one of the things is if your dog attacks a postal worker, you could owe thousands of dollars to cover medical care, lost shifts, replacement clothing, and emotional distress out of your own pocket, because they will charge you as the person who had the problem with your dog. Now, if your mail carrier feels unsafe because of your dog, mail service to your home could be temporarily suspended until the carrier feels safe enough to restart delivery, and you will have to go pick up your mail at the post office. Now, mail carriers are trained to deal with the stress and deal with animals that are threatening, but you have to do your part as well, as things like keep them on a leash, make sure that if they're easily startled, you keep them behind closed doors whenever you're getting stuff delivered. And if that means that even during the day, you have to keep them, maybe in the backyard or whatever, just you better do that, because you could get sued.
I would love to see where El Paso specifically ranks amongst Texas cities, or maybe cities across the country, because there's a lot of folks specifically here that like to let their dogs out.
Yes. And we see that, and I'm not casting any shade here. In the Lower Valley, a lot.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of dogs running loose.
Yeah. I looked into that. In 2024, El Paso was among the top 20 in Texas.
Oh, yikes.
But last year in 2025, they're not even in the top 30. Top 30 is all they publish.
That's surprising. That is
That really was.
unbelievably
It really
surprising.
was.
Yeah. Shout out to you, El Pasoans, for doing it, because there's a lot of dogs here and folks just like to keep their dogs out here.
Yeah.
It's just part of the culture here. People have outside dogs
They
here.
do.
Right.
It's just how it is. And the dogs have no problem being outside. They like being outside, but that does create some sort of risk,
right?
You would think, for postal workers. It just, you know what? I consider me surprised there.
And
Yeah,
you know what?
I was.
You know if your dog is good outside or not.
Yeah.
You know if they're good with strangers or not. Be aware. This could be serious problems for you.
Especially if you leave them alone all day.
Yeah.
Like if you all have to go to work and the dog is there by itself and you don't have any way to restrain him.
Yeah.
I
That's
don't know
an
if I
issue.
would trust my dogs out like that.
No.
They'd be behind closed doors.
Yeah, absolutely.
And also,
Yeah.
it depends on the breed you have. There
Yeah.
are specific breeds that are prone to be a little more,
Aggressive.
aggressive.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure.
I usually tend to lean towards, retrievers. So the danger in mind would be that they would lick the mail carrier to death.
Exactly.
With happy vibes.
Could happen.
Exactly.
It could.
It's not a zero
It
chance.
could.
That's right,
No,
that's right.
no, there
Could
isn't.
happen. All right.